Hello, this is Katrina and
Catherine.
Yes, and we are at Catherine's store, The Creative You.
Right.
So, and Catherine is the yarn shop owner, and she has graciously agreed to do a little interview so she can tell us a little bit about her progress into the knitting, crochet, yarn world. So we're going to start with asking a few questions. So the first one would be, how long has your store been opened?
We're celebrating our 5th birthday.
Yay! What is the best thing about owning a yarn shop?
Yarn.
And more yarn.
Yarn everywhere.
Yes.
Surrounded by yarn. I'll come over here at midnight to get yarn. It's coming on my chimneys at home, too.
Wait till you see the tour of the yarn shop. Yes, we're very blessed. Did you knit or crochet first?
My grandmother lived beside me. She taught me knitting. I also took 4-H knitting. And then somewhere along there, my grandmother taught me how to crochet, too. But my grandmother always had these work basket magazines, and I would pick out complicated things, and she would never tell me that I couldn't do that. So I ripped a lot, sometimes 4 and 5 times. I remember one time I did this lamb, and it wasn't like today where you have seamless. It had the head, and then it came down to each one of the legs. And 4 times my head went the wrong way. And she lived next door. I'd go over and she'd say, "You're going to have to rip it." I knew what she was going to say, but I'm like, but I don't want to rip. You're going to have to rip it. But I had help right next door.
Oh.
I was always over there.
My grandmother was a crocheter, but she never taught me, and nobody in my family knitted. Well, my mom does the garter stitch, and that's about it.
Well, I think even if I wouldn't not have had my grandmother, I think I still would have done it because I was drawn to 4-H knitting, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think like when kids come in here to do like a class on finger knitting or something, there's always maybe one kid out of 6. They just love it. They love yarn, and they say, "This was just the best day." And the other kids are like, "Okay, bye." And that one particular kid will say, and it could even be a boy too, but will say, "I'm going to have my mom bring me back here." And they do. They come back. And I think it starts with a love of yarn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can remember as a kid getting the bus and going downtown and going into McCrory's and looking at just all that Red Heart yarn laid out. I can still remember specific skeins I bought all those years ago.
Yeah. Do you have a preference of crochet over knit or knit over crochet? Or
people ask me that, and I wouldn't want to give up either. I mean, I wouldn't have to want to pick one. Love them both.
Well, that's good, especially since you own a yarn shop.
Right. Well, I think sometimes for crocheters, it's difficult because a yarn shop shouldn't be a knitting shop exclusively. So when crocheters come in, they need to see crocheted items. You know, on the other hand, it seems hard to pull crocheters in. I know crocheting takes a lot of yarn, but it's kind of been an uphill battle trying to get crocheters in and wanting to try different yarns.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm still a brand new, as you all know, I'm a fairly new crocheter, so, but I'm learning, I'm getting there.
Well, crochet has all these different facets: broomstick crochet, Tunisian crochet, regular crochet. I mean, you can't exhaust it. It's the same with knitting. I think Laura Ingalls Wilder's daughter, Rose, who at one time was the largest paid female author in the United States, said if you seriously, endeavor to knit, you will never be satisfied. You'll always have this quest for more and more techniques, more different yarn, I wish I could get that quote exactly, but you'll never be satisfied. You'll always be just passionately pushing on.
I think she did an editing. She edited for one of the ladies' home journal. Like it was a big book on all different types of needlework. I remember seeing it years ago. It's probably way out of print by now, but
I think when I opened up the shop, the very first day, we were booked to the back, and is really cute because I said to my husband after that day was over, I said I had one sentence in my mind, and he looked straight in my eyes and he said, "If you build it, they will come." And I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know that?"
Mhm.
So my daughter said, He knew. I didn't know. Like, how did he know? It's a married thing. It's a miracle of being married." But the one thing that really, really shocked me that day was all these women and some men in line buying yarn. And the one thing I heard over and over and over again, "Well, I've been knitting for 15 years. I've knitted, but I just do very simple things." That shocked me. Why? Why are women so inhibited? Why are people afraid of a yarn over?
Mhm.
"Oh, I don't do lace. I just do scarves." What's wrong? What's wrong, girls? Let's attempt
If
a
it
little
doesn't work
more.
out, you just rip it out and start over
Right.
again. It's no problem. Yeah. So out of all the yarn in the store, do you have a favorite?
That's like going to a ice cream store that has 500 flavors. It's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
I fell in love with Debbie Bliss Paloma a couple years ago because I think it was one of the first luxury yarns that I experienced. I, raised kids on, a shoestring budget. I only really knew Red Heart. And then I go to this yarn shop that's closing and get this Debbie Bliss Paloma that's big and lofty and soft and kind of already knitted, and it was no turning back. So I like that yarn. I like Usha. It's a big lofty yarn, kind of similar, but it's 100% merino. But golly, there's so many choices, and I haven't even yet sampled all the yarns in this shop.
What's your favorite weight of yarn to knit with or crochet with? Do you have a favorite?
I like DK. I know fingering weight's really a craze right now, but fingering weight takes a long time to do.
Tiny little needles and hooks. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a lot of fingering and sport weight. I tend to lean towards that. I used to do lace weight a lot, and I found as I've gotten older, the lace weight and the tinier needles are, I'm like looking over the bifocals to see it.
Right. Some people combine a lace weight with another yarn. But, I mean, that's one of the questions. Is the fingering craze going to keep going and going? Right. One, I think, podcaster said she was predicting death to the shawl this year. I don't think so. I don't think people are going to give up their shawls.
Yeah, in fact, this is one that I made that was in our knit-along a few years ago.
Yeah, the Shades of Wicklow.
Yep, this is the Shades of Wicklow.
Katrina's was really pretty because she got daresome and added some variegated color.
Yeah, and this was it Ella Ray Baby Alpaca, Chunky Baby Alpaca?
This is Ella Ray Cozy Alpaca.
Cozy Alpaca.
Chunky,
yeah. It is like super, super soft.
And you pick three different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And there were about 12 people that did it, and every single one looked different. Some were team colors because it was near the Super Bowl, like Dallas Cowboys. One was fall colors, but every single one was different and pretty.
It was fun to see how the same shawl pattern looks so different. Right. Because it was done in all these different colors. So It was really fun.
Hello. Come on in.
Now we're going to show some of the yarn and some of the projects that are in the shop that Catherine picked out to show you guys, that just has some unique and special qualities. So here we go.
Okay. Well, Knitting Fever came out with For Real right before Christmas.
Ooh, it's very soft.
It's nice and really soft. And you can do a cowl just on a 13 needle, cast on about 45 to 50 stitches, and just knit or crochet. Nice and soft. People made a lot of these for Christmas presents. But since this yarn came out, and I've been going through some of my Vogue magazines and different things, I've found all kind of neat patterns for furry type yarn. So, For Real, nice and fuzzy.
It reminds me of like the fur muffs they wore on White Christmas.
That's what we talked about when we were kids. We used to have those little muffs.
Yes.
And put our hands in like that. Yep. It does really feel nice around your neck. And it comes in a bunch of different colors. I don't know if they will continue to have it or if it was just for Christmas. So this is also one of my good sellers. It is a baby blanket with 4 different, I'm going the wrong direction.
Oops, there we go.
4 different hand paint colors. And you get it in a kit. And it's by Fezzy Yarns. It's really nice and soft. It's probably about a DK or sport weight. And they come in like lots and lots of different colors. And you can also make t-shirts out of them too. So for $40 to $45, you can have a nice, or if you want to make the blanket bigger, you can get individual colors. So that's that.
Let's going to show you up really close. Look at that.
Yeah, I have to learn how to do that because I feel like if I go that way, it's that way. Juniper Moon Harriet yarn is just such a phenomenal yarn. It's 100% alpaca, and it's a farm in Virginia. And this is one of their patterns called Smudge. It's cable hat. And even though this yarn is a bulky yarn, it knits up like really lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy at all, and yet it's super warm. And then these are the mittens that match. It's a seed stitch. It's a pay-for pattern. It's a $6 pattern. But yeah, one of the ladies that made those mittens in a class was on her way to Disney in December and said, I hope it gets cold because I don't wear my mittens.
It's like Rhinebeck when everybody makes all the Rhinebeck sweaters and then it doesn't get cold and nobody can put them on, or they put them on and sweat to death.
This is a free pattern on Ravelry called Galaxy.
I have this pattern and this yarn. I just haven't made it yet.
This is a yarn called Katia Darling. It's a fingering weight, sock weight yarn. Pretty pattern. And this yarn, when you put it around your neck, it feels great. You don't get hot or sweaty. So that is Galaxy.
Reminds me of a smoky fireplace.
Oh, wait till you see this one.
Fire.
This is done with Noro sock yarn. A little bit over 1 skein, I think. This was done by a man who lives near Budapest and learned to knit at age 44 when his wife taught him, and then designed this beautiful thing. It's called Easily. And I don't know if you can see the orange is real good, but there's a real bright, pretty orange in here. Woo.
Like right in here.
And I just like this pattern. It's Philippe by Hoki Locatelli. It's just a little baby vest. And this was done out of a worsted weight sock yarn called Viking Dragon. I guess that's how you say it. But a quick knit, and then I was going to do a hat and little socks. But yeah, so cute.
I think one of the viewers, Panushka, I think she did, that's her name on Ravelry, she did one of these for the fall along. So if you go back and look at that, you'll see the same pattern. But
just really a nice cute little baby gift, and you could do it for a girl too.
Yeah.
Or a boy.
Yeah, little girl colors.
Because we've done a lot of Tiega Hillard's Wee Speedy here, and I don't have one on my pile, but we've done a lot of those. They're quick and easy, but they're more for little girls. And then from Stitched in Sweden, this is one of her patterns called Rhea, and it's a seamless knit. And this yarn is a soft cotton yarn called Donita by Online. And
the Katrina's Kerchief cowl was made with that type of yarn. Yeah.
And so really, that little gift takes less than a skein of this. So it's, I think it's $6.99 yarn.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it knits up really pretty too. The one I have is like a cobalt blue and white.
I also did the little baby watermelon. I sell kits for this at the shop with Donita. And I've seen this done in like solid greens, but I thought that these variegated really looked cute.
It's perfect for the summer.
Yeah, it's done in one. If you do it with double strand or worsted weight yarn and go up a needle, you can do it for a bigger size baby because that's actually a newborn. And I was also going to show this baby blanket. This is done with Ella Ray Cozy Soft, which is a DK weight. It's
that's one of your most popular yarns.
It's our number one yarn year after year after year. And it's nice and soft. It's machine washable.
Very reasonably priced.
And this is called 123 Sail Away, and it's a free Ravelry pattern. And I wish I had all the designer names because...
And this is crocheted.
Yep, this is crocheted. I think they should get credit, but... Yep. And when you look for this pattern, it's kind of hidden within the page. I think she has caps, hats, but you'll find it. And then this is also one of our favorite crochet patterns on Ravelry. It's called the Mindless Scarf. And it is mindless. It's like 4 stitches, the whole thing. And it's a free pattern. And this is done with Louisa Harding Amatola Grande, which is a 50% silk, 50% wool, and I think an Aran weight.
I'll hold this
and
up
that
so
pattern
you can see the stitch
is so fun. I've done that. Has a nice scalloped edge.
Yeah, there you can see it.
Yep. And then about a year ago, Katia came out with so many fun yarns. Infinity Shawl was one. This is 100% wool. That is like a red black, which is always popular, but it also has greens and blacks and blues and blacks. This is a pattern called This Delicious Solitude. It's pay for Ravelry pattern. Looks really, really pretty with beads in it, which I'm sorry to say we didn't get beads in ours, but it's a pretty pattern. And that just takes one skein. The Infinity Shawl comes with its own pattern, which you can use. All the Katia like shawl yarns come with their own patterns, like this one called Funny Rainbow. Has these little, how well you can see that, black threads. This looks great knitted up with anything, but they give you, it's a cotton yarn. They give you a free pattern for crochet or knitting. There's a knitted shawl, there's a knitted shirt, and then the one there on the bottom, which is crocheted, Katie Chrisman, who comes in, agreed to make that for the shop. It's a rectangle, and then you actually fold it down for your sleeves. And I wear it. It's very pretty and lacy, and the colors in this one are, the spring weight. Yep, and here.
So it's like a shrug.
Right.
Sort of like a shrug.
Fits very nice, and it's comfortable.
That's a neat idea.
This one actually has white running through it. So depending on the yarn, I think this one has a light yellow, one has a black. They're all really pretty. And Louisa Harding has a lot of nice books. She's a very feminine, lacy designer. This is one of her patterns. This is done with a cotton yarn called Azalea. It's a DK weight. And this is just a long, drapey scarf. Let's look at the tag here. From her book, number 143. And then we had a crochet class, and we did this infinity cowl out of the same yarn. And this is a free pattern, and I'll have to make sure I give Katrina the name. Yep. So I'll just stick that on there. And then the Traveling Woman shawl was one of the favorite patterns in the shop last year. This yarn is super nice and soft. You can do this pattern in 3 different sizes, I think, small, medium, large.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of pages to print out because she gives you directions for all different fingering, DK. This is a DK weight called Lana Gatto Feeling, which has silk and cashmere. It's pretty luscious.
It is.
And this is the smaller shawl.
Which is perfect for summertime, like if you just want something right around your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's lightweight. It's not heavy feeling.
Right. And then
this is one of my favorites.
Shawl was knit by Bonnie Ralston. It has little beads in it. And this is...
It is so delicate.
Knitting Fever Painted Desert in the Angel colorway, or Angelic colorway. And this is by Mindy Ross. And she does exciting designs. Like they're kind of raggy. But when you put them on, they just look great. So you can wrap them like different ways. But and she likes to do these little fringe, raggy-taggy, little tiny things. Oh. But yeah, when you let it drape, it looks great.
Yeah.
So
and again, it's very lightweight too. It's not a heavy.
Right. It's a fingering weight, Painted Desert, and it comes in a variety of colors. And you get a lot of yarn. You get 437 yards. It's a superwash wool. And I thought that while we had that out, I'd show you something else done with that. This is a pattern out of Noro number 4 book. And when you look at it in the book, it looks like a triangular shawl. But when you actually knit it, it's this big oblong type. But it's all in how you drape it, and you can add a pin. And that was done with an edge of a color of Painted Desert. And then the rest was done in Baby Cashmerino. So when you put it on, I think the way the magazine showed it, kind of had it like that. And then you can drape this over it however you want. So you can put it like that. Yeah, I think it's a very, very clever design. The woman that made it for me, when she brought it in, I think I kind of looked dumbfounded. She goes, no, that's the way it shows in the book. And then when I looked at it, yeah. So it's all in how you drape it or pin it. And then she added beads. Yep. So thanks, Amanda, for knitting this. And then June's Bunnies shawl made with Louisa Harding Petora. The colors are gorgeous. It's a lacy shawl with stockinette stitch in between. It's actually a free pattern. And it's so lightweight and drapey. It feels like nothing. It feels like air. And it feels great around your neck. It comes in a lot of pretty colors. This color here, I don't think you can see it, but it has pink and gold and green and purple and light yellow and just go on and on. That is June's Bunny. And this shawl was the most popular shawl in the shop last year. It's Henslow. And it has a really nice lacy bind off too, which is just really fun. And this is lightweight.
But it shimmers. It's got a, there you can see some of it. See if I can get close. It's like emerald green, but it's got a luster to it. It's really pretty. There you can see some of it. You can see kind of the shimmer to it.
It's an extra fine merino.
There it shows up really well.
Right. It comes in gorgeous, gorgeous colors.
And it's very, very lightweight too.
It's a fingering weight. 70% viscose, 30% virgin wool. Very soft. It feels like air. No wonder they call it Air Luxe. And so that's that. And the Henslow is a pay-for pattern. And then this is Helen Stewart's Pebble Beach shawl. And if you've ever done a Helen Stewart pattern, you will get so spoiled because she details every single line, how many stitches you should have, how far along you are. So you know when you start a shawl and you just zoom along and you do 40 rows and you go, look at me, and then she pops your bubbles by saying, you are 2% finished. But you get really spoiled with her patterns.
Yeah. And she did the Mystery Shawl series, the Shawl Society.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same person.
And this is done with rayon metallic, which is let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. This is owned by a young man named Demian. He's out of Eastern Maryland, and it's a soft, sparkly yarn, and it comes in multiple colors. That's one of the delicious pinky.
It's like a blush.
Yeah, like a light pink. Some have gold sparkle, some have silver. You get 550 yards, and it just makes incredible shawls. Okay, that's color sandstone and soft rose. And this is a Knitting Fever paper pattern out of their yarn called Kushku, which is a sock yarn. This is like purples. I don't think it shows up really good because it's a light purple and a gold. And it makes pretty socks too. And there is the yarn. It's actually a bamboo wool blend. 40% wool, 40% bamboo, and 20% nylon in really pretty colors. Okay, let's see what else we have here. On Cascade's website, they have some really nice free patterns, and this is the Rose Trellis Shawl.
I love this color.
And it's a worth knit. Linda Morin knitted this for me, and she liked it so much she made a second one out of another yarn. And this is done with Cascade Sunseeker Multis.
They have sparkles in
Yep,
them.
it has little sparkles, and yet it's soft. Some people think the sparkles make yarns rough, but not in this case at all.
Yeah, this one's beautiful with the pinks and the roses and the silvers and the grays.
And let's see what else. I think this little shawl that we just did, I don't think you could see those little fringes I was talking about, but there they are.
That's that Painted Desert.
Yep, this is the Painted Desert Waiting for Rain by Mindy Ross. And let's see. Oh, Katia also brought out a yarn called Paint, P-A-I-N-T. Let's see, where's our paint? This is a shawl called, I think it's called Nightberry Shawl. And I could have made it bigger. It drapes really nice. And it is a free Ravelry pattern, crocheted. And let me see if I can find the yarn here. Let's see. Oh, here it is. So it's a cake yarn. It's acrylic yarn and lots of pretty colors. And I actually didn't use the whole cake. I was really happy with my shawl, so I stopped. And I would love to make more out of other yarn. It's a fun pattern. And this is a nice soft squishy yarn too. And then I'm going to show it anyway. Okay. Here's another rose trellis shawl that Linda made in Creative. Crea is a baby alpaca. And this is a nice soft yarn called Creative that is put out by Knitting Fever. And then lastly, is just really to show you Maypole DK, which is a Euro yarn. And a lot of crocheters like it in the DK weight because it does all of this beautiful striping. And I'm not sure of the name of this shawl. It's a lot of just shell stitches with increases to do a triangular shawl. And this is what the yarn looks like. Maypole DK. Did I make you cross-eyed yet? Okay, and I think last, isn't it so fun to look at? That's one of the nice things about owning a yarn shop is when people bring in all of their creations. And if you watch my podcast, I hate the term FOs. I will not call my things objects. I'm sorry. But you can't go wrong with a seed stitch. And this is done with Debbie Bliss Riva, which is a chunky yarn in all these different colors. And I know when Deb made this for me, I don't think she's really crazy about the yarn. It looked kind of pale and lifeless. And when she brought it in, she said, this was so gorgeous. I don't know if you can see the yellows. But
it has a nice halo to it, too.
Yep, it has a nice halo. Mm-hmm. So that is some of my show.
Yeah. And I will put the name down here of Catherine's podcast so you can go over and check hers out. And if I can, I will actually link it in the description box below, and that way you can just click that link and it'll take you right over to hers. And
tell them about this. So yes. This is a yarn called Cairns, Cairns, and this is what they call a kimono, and it has a pretty lace weight border. And that is a cotton acrylic yarn. It's like a flat tape with color changes running through it. It's really fun. And this is a paper pattern from Euro Yarns. Okay.
Well, thank you for watching, and stay tuned. We're going to do the yarn shop tour, and you can see all of the yarny goodness.
Okay, so that is the Symmetry yarn, and I actually got a bunch of yarns from that company. These are the little Topless hats, which are so cute. They got a couple new ones. The little raccoon is new, and the little fox is new. And they redid the unicorn, but I don't have one to show you. Okay, so down the middle aisle are all the worsted weight yarns, and then with the yarns are some samples so people can pick them up and feel them. But this beautiful vest is from the Alpaca Yarn Company, designed by the owner, Beth Lutz. Isn't it pretty? Very drapey and soft. You make it with this braid, which is her Mariquita, which Mariquita is Spanish for ladybug, and the halo, which is Surrey alpaca. If you just got the Mariquita by itself, that's what it looks like. It's a fingering weight, 50% baby alpaca, 50% tencel, and you can purchase that pattern on Ravelry. All right, so all the worsted weight yarns down the middle, and then Aran weight yarns. I'm still rearranging. I'm still trying to get it right. Chunky yarns, cotton yarns, the DK weight yarns that go from here all the way over here, all the way back over here, and lots of chunky yarns. And then in the back is fingering weight yarns and patterns that runs the whole way across, and then sport weight yarns. And I carry the Knitting Pure and Simple patterns, which are really nice, seamless. Then we have a big $3 yarn bonanza and some sales in the corner. And then Ella Ray Cozy Soft has its own little section. I carry the Zauber Ball Crazy, Zauber Ball the Flower. Their yarns are fun. And then lots and lots and lots of notions. I got into notions this past year, and it's been so fun to get like 12 different kind of stitch markers and symbols and just all kinds of stuff. It's amazing. And we also have a whole section on needle felting. So a lot of people like to do needle felting. You can make the little kits, and we have quite a following of needle felting. So that's all that. And then lots and lots of buttons. And I also carry the Lamb's Pride, which Lamb's Pride has mohair in it. It's from Nebraska. It's a third generation company with Colorado sheep. So I like to support them. And then super bulky yarns. Pride, we carry Likes, we carry Chow Gu, which means crafty lady. Likey is Norwegian for laughter. People really like Likes. They're birchwood instead of bamboo, and they have about as seamless of a join as you can get. And of course, you can get all the interchangeables and everything. And they just came out with their double points, and they have crochet hooks too. Here. And super bulky yarn. And then we're back to the front, and we have a lot of books. I know some yarn shops don't sell books, but we sell a lot of books. And we also sell kits. And we have a table where we sit and knit for drop in and knit. We call it You and Me time. And I guess that's about it. It's a lot to take in. When people come in the first time, they're very overwhelmed. They usually just about run out the door. And one lady came in to just get like one ball of something, and her friend was not a knitter. And as they were leaving, I heard her friend say, "This isn't a yarn shop. This is for yarn addicts." And I thought, woohoo! I'll take that as a compliment.